Good morning. I want to do number two in my series of stroke survivors. And this one is about taking off from where we left off. Number one. Number one talked about good and evil, the definition and how it works. Number two is about judgment because the fact of the matter is that good and evil exists. Therefore, it always occurs in everything. It will always be there. Your challenge is how you're going to choose what is good and what is evil. That is judgment. And to understand that is not as easy as it sounds because you set a scale to decide what is good for you and what is bad for you, what is evil, what's going to lead to more separation and division. And a lot of times people accept what other people say as their scale instead of listening to their heart. Only you can know what you feel. And because of that feeling, you decide what is good and what is evil for you. That means there's a scale for everybody who's ever been or ever will be. It's individual, it's not really controlled by other people, and as a result, it causes things to happen. The reality that good and evil exist is in everything. And all you have to do is look at every event and every person and everything and see, is it going to lead to more, which is good, or is it going to divide? Is it going to separate? That's evil. But your decision is judgment. Therefore, because it comes from you and it is always your scale, then as you judge, so you will be judged. In other words, the minute you start to separate, you automatically cause a series of actions to happen. Now, for instance, for a stroke survivor, what happened, yes, you say is evil. It depends. It depends on what you do with it. You have an opportunity to show other people what a great person you really are. How you are going to deal with this is what's going to make it good or evil. What you do with it is going to make it, not what it does to itself. It's a fact. You have to deal with it. How you deal with it is going to cause one or two things to happen. Either you're going to divide yourself and your family and your caregivers and everything else and make yourself miserable and feel bad and feel so sorry for yourself. None of them are good. Or you're going to pick up the pieces that are left, try to find ways to help other people to help you, which is one of the reasons that support groups are so successful and so good because they give you a chance to deal with other people without having to explain to them everything that you're going through because they're going through it too. So, judgment, it's a bad thing, but it's necessary, just like good and evil. It exists. The reality of it is, it's only yours that matters because yours is the only one that can cause you feelings. Others, what other people think, it don't really matter because you don't feel as a result of what they do unless you decide to. That's how you were given dominion over this place. You get to decide, and therefore you are going to be accountable for it. Because whenever you judge, things are going to happen. And if you judge poorly or badly, things are going to be bad. If you just take what's left and understand that it happened, How do I make it better? How can I make it worthwhile? How can I improve my life? How can I improve other people's lives? What can I do now that I couldn't do before? You have time, number one, now that you probably didn't have before. How many times did you go to work? How many times can't you go to work today? How much hours can you apply yourself to finding answers to problems? To how much time do you got to solving difficulties in your life and in other people's lives? How many opportunities do you get to be an example to other people? It's all in how you use it. It's in how you look at it. You know, I talk to people all the time and ask them, can you define heaven? What would heaven be like to you? And the best answer I can give you is heaven is not a state of mind, it is a state of being. Do not separate things, do not divide them, do not accept what is there. It's always there. You can accept it and make the best of it. What you do with it is up to you. That's the key. You have, even in your stroke situation, you have control. You have dominion. Choose what you want. Choose it well. Be kind. But remember, to be kind, you got to be kind to yourself first. And then be kind to everybody else. Because when you're kind to yourself first, you feel better. And that will help you in dealing with other people. So while I talk in this about the basics of life, I am also explaining why it's important that you make the right choices, that you help yourself, and that you help others, because that's going to make you feel good. And life, no matter how you look at it, is not about material things, it's about how you feel. What you can do to create better feelings. Better feelings creates more energy, and that's what you were created for. We are all energy. The energy of God works with the molecular structure of matter to produce us. We are only part of it. The energy that flows through us is His. So we are at once a part and one. I was in my Father is in me, and we are one. We are all one. Treat each other as you would treat yourself. Treat each other as you would treat one. You are the one. How do you think that things can go for you and for them if you don't treat each other and yourselves well? It's not going to go good. You get to choose. Yes, there are things you cannot do anymore. There are things you got to change what you do. But with every struggle comes a victory. And with every victory comes joy. You have been given an opportunity to experience so much more than the average person. But the requirement of that is that you use it and that you make yourself an example. That's why the support group works. Because it shows people who overcome, who have victory. Yes, it can be minimized if you want to, but it's not to them. To them, it's everyday life, and every day I have a struggle, and every day I can overcome it. And that makes me a shining example of what God intended all of us to be. Overcomers. We are one. Treat each other as one. Understand that judgment is based on good and evil, and it's going to exist no matter what. You may not like it. That's okay. Doesn't matter. It's going to be there. What you do with it is going to be the question. Now, wisdom is that you allow it to judge itself. and that you don't feel anything one way or the other. You just allow things to judge themselves and hold them accountable to how they judge themselves. That is that is wisdom. So as you go through life, look at what you're going through. Try to make it the best it can be for you and for your family and for your caregivers. Lift up your heart. Be glad that God loves you so much He gave you this opportunity. And take each day, and at the morning when you get up, stop and think about this. God gave you the day. What you do with it is up to you. I want you to make every day worth more than it was when He gave it to you. Make it more fun. Make it more joy. Make it a better experience. Every day of your life, you got a choice. You can make yourself miserable, make yourself happy. You can help each other to be happy, or you can help each other to be miserable. That choice is up to you. I hope you'll choose well. Anyway, this was number 2, and it's about judgment. Number 3 will be more about value, and that's a critical issue. Judgment and good and evil are going to be there no matter what. What you do with them, that's what's going to count to value. I love you. I hope you have a great day. And if you have any questions, you can send them to me at bikerclem1 at gmail.com. I love you. Hope you have a great day. Bye.